How does this work again? Did I do it? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for checking out today's video. We're going to be installing the new next-gen COBB Flex Fuel Kit. This one is sent out to us courtesy of Import Image Racing. So huge thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. Leave a link in the description so you guys can get this from them yourself if you're interested. I also have a DW 300C fuel pump and a fuel pressure regulator, and this will be fun to work with. And then of course my tuner, Clark Turner, is going to tune the car. I'll leave a link for him in the description as well if you guys are interested. So this DW pump is going to come with a new fuel pressure regulator. My tuner, Clark Turner, worked with DW to get that made. On my 2020 WRX, where I had the DW pump, I did not have this regulator because it didn't exist yet. So we're going to install this today. I'm going to break the video down in different sections so you guys can see only what you need to see if you want to skim through it. But we'll be installing the Flex kit and sensor. We'll be installing the fuel pump and regulator, and then we'll be tuning the car. And I'm going to cram all that in today's video, so it might be a little lengthy one, but you guys can skim through and find everything you need to find. And so let's dive into it. So the first step in doing anything with the fuel system is to remove pressure from the fuel system. We don't want to pull the fuel pump out. We don't want to pull the fuel lines out or anything like that without removing pressure. So the first thing you want to do is locate your fuel pump fuse, which is the 15 amp fuse here on the side. So it's actually this one down at the very bottom, this last blue one. We are just going to pull that out, and then all we'll do is we'll go in, we'll start up the car, let it run until the engine dies. Oh, there you can see, ran out of fuel and it's all done. All right guys, so we're gonna start with the Flex kit, then we'll go back to the fuel pump. All we have to do is remove the battery for starters. We have 10mm on both terminals. We can remove those. Then we have our two 10mm on the battery tie down. And we can remove those. Then we can pick up and remove our battery. Then on the top of the fuse box cover, we have two 10mm here we're going to remove. Then there's a bolt down on the bottom that we're going to remove. The next step, I'd recommend some safety glasses, some gloves. We are just going to pop up and remove this fuel line. So the top line, just two tabs you can pull up with a screwdriver. Now I've seen these pop off with barely any fuel pressure in here and it just dribbles out, and I've also seen fuel shoot out of these. So that's why I'm wearing safety glasses, just in case. I got gloves on because fuel gets into your hands and the smell just never goes away. You can wash your hands a million times, it's still there. But we are going to take our microfiber, you can use a towel, whatever, and I'm just gonna pull out on this. Oh yeah, we had quite a bit in there. My reg is actually very wet. All right, so it looks like all the residual fuel came out of there. We should be okay. Same thing, we're gonna wrap this sucker around this. Oh, we do have a clip here for the fuel line. Oh, all right, and now we'll pull this off. Not as much as the one back there. All right, so now we can grab our flex sensor. We can take the caps off the ends of that. Then grab the shorter of the two hoses and slide it on to this side here with the connector for the sensor. Then we'll grab the longer of the two and we will put it onto this side. Slide that down on and connect it. And then down here below the fuse box where we unbolted it, we are just going to grab our sensor and place it down here, just like the traditional kit that we had in the past. So we'll kind of pull the fuse box up, and hopefully you guys can see this, and slide the bracket in behind the fuse box. Thread the bracket for the sensor into where the fuse box goes. So then we can just thread on the other two screws for the fuse box. All right, so this next part's fairly simple. We just have to lift up our battery wires, and now we're gonna grab the shorter of the two fuel lines and we will twist this up and install it here onto the factory fuel rail. Now make sure that it's clicked into place, and then we will take the longer of the two and we will run that back to the place where we unplugged the factory fuel line, and we'll slide that on. You should feel it click into place and then push down the connector. It should grab and it should not go anywhere. And then you can snap that into your fuel line connector there and then push that to the side for right now. Bacon brake. All right, so next locate your gateway bracket and the nut and bolt. And all we're gonna do is there's a sticker right here that we're gonna remove from our vehicle, covering up one of the bolt holes. So we'll just take that sticker off. And then we can take our bracket, slide it onto the stud that's sticking out of the strut tower, and then we'll grab our bolt and start to thread our bolt into the other hole. And then we'll get our nut and put it on the side that has the stud coming out. And then we can take our gateway and sit it on top and grab our 2 hex key bolts, grab the provided Allen key, and thread them in. All right guys, so for the next part of the install, we're gonna locate this brown connector. Now mine is broken off of this bracket here. Yours should be attached like that. So just locate it. You'll have to remove the clip that's holding it on and then just bring it out a little bit. And then we will disconnect this and install our jumper. And then basically back here just a little ways right behind this bracket, there's a threaded hole that we're going to use. On the harness there is a ground connection right here, and you just thread it with the provided bolt through that threaded hole in the strut tower. So we'll take and disconnect this connector. Now we can take our provided zip ties and just pull this back and zip tie it to one of these other wires just to keep it out of the way. And now we'll just remove this tab here above the vehicle connection. Just loosen that up. And we'll grab our wire for the harness we just installed. These are keyed, so they'll have to face a certain way. Just be mindful of that. Push that in and then thread that on. Our last piece of the puzzle here, all we have to do is grab this connector and bring it down here to our flex sensor and plug it in. And then this wire here, you can just run it however you choose, up and behind and around the firewall, and then just bring it back, and we will disconnect sensor 1 and we'll thread it into there, and we'll be all finished with this install. The CAN gateway is installed. There you can see we have this wire routed down, going to that brown connector, and then zip tied up, and then grounded right back, right there, where that bolt is, right there. And then we have the other wire to the sensor running out. I have it zip tied to this bracket, zip tied to these wires, zip tied to the wires there on the firewall, and then it comes back, goes around and comes right here, gets zip tied to this wire on this bracket, and then comes up to the flex sensor. So now all we have to do is put the fuel pump fuse back in, put the battery back in. I'm gonna skip the fuse for right now because I am going to go back and put a new fuel pump in the car. But if you guys aren't installing a fuel pump and all you're doing is the flex kit, we are finished with the install. But I'm gonna go inside the car, rip the back seat out, pull the fuel pump out, and install the new DW fuel pump and fuel pressure regulator. And then we will put the battery and everything back in after that. All right, so removal of the back seats is very easy. We just find a little cutout in the bottom of the seat, put your fingers in there and pull on those little tabs, and that'll lift up. Come over to the passenger seat, do the same thing, lift up. All right, so we'll just lift up on this, pull that out of the car, and we'll just lean it up there for now. This is what we need right here. This is our low pressure fuel pump. We just have 4 Phillips head screws going around holding the cover on. All right, so with that cover removed, there was a lot of debris in here. I just took a little portable vacuum and vacuumed up all the debris that was in there. Now I'm gonna take some WD-40 penetrant, and a lot of these bolts look a little rusty, and I just wanna make sure we're gonna be able to get these out. So I'm gonna do this, let this sit for a few minutes. I'm gonna go get some dinner, and then we'll come back and hopefully get those out. So if you hear any noise, it's because I have this fan right here. I always have the back doors open, especially the front windows are down and the back doors are open, because this will end up, you're literally opening up the fuel tank. So you're gonna smell a lot of gasoline and this WD-40. So the reason I'm doing it this way is that now, you know, with the fan blowing and the doors open and the windows down, it shouldn't really have a smell in here. Gasoline's very potent, and the smell will linger if you don't take precautions. So anyways, what we have to do now, same as with the fuel lines up front, we're just gonna get our flathead underneath there, pop those up, and then remove the fuel lines. Just be careful, maybe grab a towel just in case there's any extra spillage. I'm gonna clean off the top of this also while I'm in here, and then we will take out all of the 8mm bolts going around the fuel pump, and we can pull this whole assembly out. All right. Now there's gonna be a little bit of fuel in here. It's hard to see it, but I'm trying to drain the excess fuel before I get this thing out of here. Something I advise doing is immediately taking this plate and make sure that electrical connection doesn't go down in there. But just sit this plate right on top, just so nothing loose falls down in there. So I'm gonna pull this plate off. Underneath this plate is this green O-ring. First thing we'll do is we'll reach up inside of here and pop out both of these. So all right, we'll position here, and I'm just going to push down on this and grab onto the snap ring and try and pop it off of here. Oh, I got it. So make sure we sit that somewhere where we won't lose it. All right, I'm gonna move this rubber gasket because it's getting in my way and it's annoying. All right, then there's just this little clip right here. Push up on that, and then we'll spin this around. And there's another clip right here on the back side, and we'll push on that. Oh, I'm sorry, there's another one right here. And then this should all come out like this. What we need to do now is open up and get this fuel pump out of here. So we'll take our fuel sock off, just pry up on that, pry on that, and pry on that. Pop these out. Ah, there we go. Okay, so just all those clips. And then this is our fuel sock down here. And then, so right here is our fuel pump, and right here is our fuel pressure regulator. So we can pull the pump out. We can just push down and pull that out. So there's our factory pump right here. And then right here is our factory fuel pressure regulator. Now to get that out, I'm not entirely sure. I think we might just pull that straight out. It's just O-rings in there. Yep. All right, so there is our factory pressure regulator. So we're replacing that with the new DW one, which is right here. All right, so there's factory compared to the new one. They look relatively the same. This one is a Denso one, I believe. Yeah. And then here's the new DW one. So we'll just straight away push that one back in and clip it in there like so. I don't think the orientation of the holes matters. So now we're done with that. We can grab our new DW pump, which is right here. We'll take this little nipple off here. Now be careful because I've cracked a fuel pump before, this nipple, and it is not fun. So I'm double checking with my tuner because I believe how this used to work was you would take your factory spacer off of your factory pump and put it onto the DW one, but now the DW one comes with a spacer, which I remember him telling me. So I don't think I need two of these. I think I only need one. You used to need two, but I think I only need one. So I'm going to just double check with him before I confirm this and put it back in the car. But yeah, so I'm going to install that now, and then all I have to do after that is remove this sock. I'm going to put the new sock on because this one actually looks pretty gross. And then we will cut with my Dremel here. We're just going to cut this section. So if you guys aren't familiar with how to do this install already, we're just cutting this section right here in between these two pieces. So we're going to throw this piece out, and we're just going to use this piece right here. All right, so literally 1 second. We just cut this off, and that's all we need. So we'll put this back over the regulator and snap that back into place, and then there won't actually be a clip on the bottom of this because this one's longer and it comes out past the bottom, but it's going to sit up against the bottom of the basket there, and that will prevent it from falling out. It's designed this way, but we are going to use the new sock. All right, so I've lubed up the O-ring just a little bit. Now on the inside there, you'll see that hole we have to go back into. I did have one of my O-rings, my factory O-rings were still in there, so keep that in mind. You want to make sure you remove that if there is any O-rings still in there. Alright, so we got a really nice affirmative click when that went into the assembly, so I believe it is seated perfectly. And we'll install that. Then we'll kind of fold this up, and we're going to start reinstalling all this stuff. So I'm going to drop this down in. All that stuff should clip on there. And then we got a new wire with this guy right here. And so we have to see which one it is that goes to the pump, which is this one. So we'll put that end in. So we'll plug that in here. All right, and then we'll grab this guy here and we'll plug it in here. So now we'll do it like this. Put that back on and hurt my thumb by pressing it on there, and that's it. Well guys, I got the fuel pump put in, and then I loaded up Clark's first map for the car. We did some tuning, and then I went and filled up with the 85. And we finished the tune off, and the car is making a really healthy 338 wheel horsepower. If you guys aren't sure how to do an e-tune with Clark, I have a video link in the description that'll show you a step-by-step process of how to do the e-tune, and it'll help you out immensely. But that's a very strong power number for having no modifications besides a cold air intake, the flex kit, and the fuel pump. I think Clark did a really good job with this car, and he also said it's a pretty conservative tune. It's got a pretty healthy torque curve that's not going to damage the transmission or the rods. It should be a long-lasting map. Now that is pretty impressive considering my last WRX made 382 wheel horsepower, and that one had a downpipe, an intercooler, the TGV deletes, EGR deletes, bypass valve, all that fun stuff. It had a lot more mods, and on a send it map, it was making 403, but that was a really risky map. So safe map for safe map, we are only down 40 horsepower from having all those extra modifications. So we're talking intercooler, downpipe, catback exhaust, all that stuff, all the deletes, the emissions crap, added what, 40 extra wheel horsepower, which really isn't significant. So for 338 wheel horsepower on this car, I'm very impressed, especially being a conservative tune that's not going to blow the car up. Super happy with it. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments, leave them down below, and I'll talk at you in the next one.